Hello gamers, it is me, Winona, and we're going to quickly go over the Depths of Duplicity update in the live game, because from the beta they have changed a few things and straight up added things which weren't in the beta, so I think it was worth making a quick little update video on it. So, we're going to get started with, first of all, the pre-rift stuff. But most of the update is locked behind the shadow rifts, which you get after you kill Agent Feelweaver and you give Charlie some Dreadstone. We'll start with all the pre-rift stuff, and then we'll go over the post-rift stuff, starting with like new mobs and stuff. So the first new mob, let's find it. You can actually find this on day one if you really try. Oh, look, a rabbit hole. Let's go feed him some carrots. So if you feed a bunch of carrots into a rabbit hole, you will hear some bunnies scream, and eventually, whoa! Benevolent Wabbit King. My goodness. So anyway, you feed, it seems to be a variable amount between like 10 and 20 carrots, but I'm not sure. You can trade him for a coat of carrots, 8 carrots, 3 rope, a burrowing horn for 4 carrots and 1 reed, or a warren wreath for 1 rabbit and 6 grass. What are those sound effects, dude? So I'm of course cheating to show you all the stuff. So let's get started. So first of all, the warren wreath. All this does is it makes it so bunnies don't run away from you anymore. That's it. But when you punch a rabbit, it makes the rest of them scared. So yeah, it's okay. I don't know when you would use this. If you skipped ahead a day, you'll see that the rabbit's starting to starve, so you can actually feed it a carrot to refresh it so it lasts for longer. Cool, that's what that does. Get rid of the warren wreath. Then you got the coat of carrots. This is neat, kind of, not really. You can feed it carrots to repair it, or you repair it with carrots. And then you got some bunny men, and then if you run around, the bunny men will follow you because you're wearing the coat of carrots. So it's an easy way to recruit bunny men, which means you can command them to attack things and such. For example, you've got an evil banjo over here, so you need the bunnies to attack, and off they go. And this just degrades over time that you can repair with carrots. Oh my gosh, that pig man's running fast. Hiya! Got him. Oh, now the bunnies are killing each other. Epic. Get rid of the coat of carrots. Last but not least, we've got the burrowing horn. This thing is insanely good. So you play it, and as you can see, a little portable den just appeared. So this is 16 slots, and you could put anything in here. Then this portable den will last for a few minutes. I forgot what the exact time is, but you have plenty of time to put things inside of it. And then after a while, it will despawn. When it's in here, it works exactly the same as like Maxwell's Magician Hat, but it doesn't share the same inventory as Maxwell's Magician's Hat. So this is like you're accessing rabbit network storage. So what you could do is you could leave this hole, then let's delete it, kabam, let's say it despawned, and then later on, you want to make the base, and you want to pull the items back out of what you just put in there. So you play the horn again. It cools in the horn, it cools in the hole, and then look, you've still got your items in there. Perishable things like food will still like degrade while they're in here, so it doesn't stop spoilage or anything. But the main use for this is if you're exploring in the early game, simply, and then you have full inventory, call in the burrowing horn, put a bunch of items in it, and then carry on with your journey. Then when you go to base, you call the horn again and pull those items back out. You go here, you activate your cheats, and you one-hit the bishops. So let's pretend you're at the ruins, and then you've just done a bunch of crafting, and your inventory is full. You don't want to leave your stuff here, right? So what you do, you call in a burrowing horn, it breaks, and there it is, the portable den. You go ahead and put whatever in it. Very cool. Let me take all those carrots. And then you leave it. And then you exit. And then you're about to leave the caves from coming back from the ruins. Then you empty your inventory. And then you come back down. You blow the horn, and hey look, all of your loot is in here still. So it's a really good way of retrieving your loot like from the ruins. Basically, it's just extra inventory slot. Very good item. Alright, so that's all of the Bunny King trader. Now let's move on to the Bunny King boss. There is actually another way to get the Rabbit King, and that is, I'm just going to spawn 100 rabbit holes. You have a rare chance of a benevolent, or well, a lucky rabbit coming out of a rabbit hole. Lucky rabbit! And got him. So when you do that, if you see a lucky rabbit, you can pick it up and chase it down, and it will just turn into the Rabbit King. So that's another way to get the Trader Rabbit King. But now, let's say you want to do some killing. So you make the mistake of challenging the Rabbit King. If you attack him, he turns into the wrathful Rabbit King, and he will always run away from you until he spawns in some spicy looking bunny men, which do quite a bit of damage. Goodness gracious, they just don't die. Oh, goodness. So now, you've killed his bodyguards. It's only a matter of time until he spawns in more bodyguards. So what you have to do is you wait for him to drop kick, like that, and then he misses, and then you attack. Oh, idiot, he missed again. Just like that. Killed him. And then he drops some monster meat, beard, hair, and a Rabbit King Cudgel. Now what this thing does, hello pigmen, it's time to die. So I do 51 whole smack'ems. So it's like the same as a tentacle spike, except against bunnymen. If there's a bunnyman, he will not attack you. So I have meat on me, which means he should be wanting to attack me, but he's actually running away from me because I'm wearing the Rabbit King Cudgel. But if I take it off, he'll try to attack me because I have meat. Then otherwise, I do bonus damage versus bunnymen, which is very cool. 71, 71, there you go. So bonus damage versus bunnymen. It's a kind of whatever weapon, probably not worth killing him for. Anyway, let's move on. Next, we're heading into the caves because they fixed void walking, which you probably know, but they also did a few more things. All you need to do is that, and then slap down a gate. Open the gate, close it on yourself, forces you into the void, and you fall before you didn't fall. And then you get put, well, you can still kind of cross the terrain if you do it nicely. As you saw there, it put me back on this side, so technically the void walking still kind of put me in a different biome, which is useful, but yeah. So they fixed void walking, but if you want to not cheat, for 2 ropes and 4 boards, you can make 1 bridge segment. For every bridge segment you make, you can surpass a tile worth of void. And the max length is 6. So here you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 long. So this should eat up 4 things. There we go, it ate up 4. I have 2 left. And then you can walk across the void. Very cool. Now, these bridges do eventually break, but otherwise you can, mobs can be taken on them. There is a little bit of cheese if you take Toadstool on it and then the bridge breaks. So I'm not sure if the bridges break still. They might not break anymore. I'm not sure. Let me know if you know in the comments. I don't know if these bridges are permanent now. I don't think they used to be. Let's move on. If you're playing Winona, you can make the rose-colored glasses with her first and second skill, and you can use the bridge, the vine bridge in the caves now. Before, you couldn't. So if you closely examine a straight edge of the caves, it will take you across, just like a bridge. And this has no cooldown, so you can just keep using it. Although you can't use it on diagonal bits, it has to be on a straight bit, like right here. So yeah, Winona can also do that, but we already knew that. Now, I'm gonna do a whole lot of skipping. Oh, what's this? A giant depth worm. I just skipped a bunch of days to get a depth worm attack, and I did indeed get one. So I didn't know this guy had unique music. This is very cool. So as you can see, the giant depth worm is extremely destructive, destroys everything, and also eats everything. I'm going to turn off God mode so that you can see how to actually kill this thing. So basically, whenever he eats something, he will stop and chew it. So idea is you just drop a bunch of stuff, so maybe pick a light bulb. See these logs on the floor? Let's make sure he eats that. Then he's going to get up and chew them, so you can get some hits in. This is when it's safe to attack. Then as soon as he starts moving again, you want to get out of the way, because see all the spiky bits on his body? Those will shred you. Those do a bunch of damage, like 20 physical damage, and every time he moves, it will hit you. So let's make him eat this now. Yum, yum, yum. Get some more hits in. There are some bunny men over here, so let's just quickly go over here. If you take him here, you might think he's cool because he's destructive, but he also eats everything. And when he eats something, it's gone forever. You cannot get it back. So if you're going to use him to destroy things, make sure the items that you want, you pick them up very fast. So he just ate some stuff there. Now, he's not chewing for very long at the moment, because he's eating very small things, and I actually just got eaten. So there you go. If you get eaten, you take damage, then you take a bunch of damage as you get digested, and then you get pooped out. I also lost a bunch of sanity, and I'm on 1 health. So him eating you doesn't actually kill you. When he poops you out, he will put you on 1 health, and then if you get hit by the body, you will then die. So you can't die while you're inside him. Ah, yes. So if we watch the bunny men, we're going to see something happen real quick. Oh, I got eaten again. So this will be a good test. I have a log suit, and I'm otherwise at full health. Let's see how much damage I take. I basically got killed. I was at 0 health when I came out. So being eaten basically will get you down to 1 health. Eat that bunny man. See that? See, he ate that sleeping bunny man? Now watch this. Now he stays chewing for a lot longer, since he has to actually poop it out. So it's going all the way through his body and then poops it out. Then as soon as he's done pooping, he'll start moving again. So you can feed him little items to stop him, but feeding him big items like bunny men or like anything that's sizable and alive, that will cause him to stay stunned for a little longer. Realistically, you would have to pick a bunch of light bulbs and just keep feeding him light bulbs to keep him still. Ate some carrots to get some damage in. Oh, we got him. Nice. So so that's what we've got. We've got a glowberry, we've got some Thrallsite, we've got a lot of bone shards and rocks and monster meat. Also got some gems, even a yellow gem. So I believe this thing can drop all the gems, and it can also drop fossils. So it's pretty decent to kill because you get gems. So yeah. Very cool boss. You can only max get one per wave, but otherwise they can happen pretty early game. Probably in late first autumn they can arrive, so keep an eye out for the worm boss. Also, the boss is always wet, so you can use electric weapons against it all the time, which is neat. And we've got a couple more things before we enable rifts. So after you give Pearl, make Pearl a chair and she hates it, she'll give you the sawhorse blueprint. So what this sawhorse does is you can give it raw materials like logs to turn it into boards for you. You used to be able to give it logs, but you don't do that anymore. Instead, you go to the refine tab and you unlock Buncho boards. So with one craft, you can turn 20 logs into 5 boards. Very cool. But then you can actually upgrade the sawhorse, so don't mind me while I assemble the lunar altar real quick. Once you've got an altar, you can unlock the moonglass saw blade with 6 moon shards and an alive moon moth. Which means you have to chop down a tree and then grab the moon moth. So then you can go ahead and make the moonglass saw blade. Wow. Now, what this does is, well, it's an upgrade, so if I make the sawhorse again, and then use the moonglass saw blade on it, and now you've actually unlocked more stuff. Now you can cut stone. So you can still do the boards, but now you can cut the stone. So 15 rocks makes 5 cut stone. So it's simply a bam. And it cuts the rocks. And then you can also make some stone furniture, which is very cool. Anyway, moving on. Now we are on to the post-rift content and some new things that they added from the since the beta. So let's get started. So if we just hop down into the caves. Hello, Agent Fuel Weaver. Oopsie daisy. So if you don't know, to enable hard mode caves, you need to kill Fuel Weaver and give Charlie some dreadstone. Do that. Give him a heart. Turn on one hit kill mode. One hit him. Good job, you have beaten the game. And then there's a beckoning hand. Give it 5 dreadstone. Oh my goodness, it's Charlie. And then 5 days later, hard mode caves will happen. So everything we're talking about requires this to happen before you can access it. So let's skip 5 days, kabam. And you can see there is now a rift. So with this rift active, all of the things that I'm about to show you happen. Now, rifts do rotate on and off, so this will grow for a time. I think it's about 15 to 20 days, but it's variable. And also 15 to 20 days might be wrong. But then once it despawns, it stays despawned for 5 days, and then it respawns again. So hard mode cave is enabled, but you'll have breathing time of there will be no rift, so none of the things that I'm about to show you will happen. But let's get started. So if we go to a fissure. Oh, a dreadstone outcrop. So we know who this is. Oh, goodness. Oh, what was that? What is this? Something's biting me from the shadows. Oh, we got it. Using a tooth trap. You can use some other stuff, but a tooth trap is most accessible for most people. A tooth trap will pull this guy out of the shadows and stop you from biting you. This snake is quite nasty. He is a planar entity. And he jumps at you, then does lots of little bites. See, he did a whole bunch of damage to me right then. Oh, and an earthquake hit that guy, so it activated him as well. So now we have to fight 2 of them. We got another one. So if you had like speed burst and gear to actually fight these things, they wouldn't be too bad, but they do hit quite hard. So it's about like 3 or 4 attacks, then just dodge and run in a circle so that they don't get you. So that was 1 rift, and instead of getting an ink blight, I got 3 of those snakes. And to activate the snakes, you kind of just have to hang around until an earthquake happens. An earthquake hits them, and then they come into the physical world. Or you could bring a tooth trap, but honestly, probably just wait for an earthquake. That'll do it. So yeah, instead of the Inkblight trio, you can get those snakes. So that is the first new mob when a rift is active. Very cool. Otherwise, they just drop pure horror, dark tatters. So it's a fine alternative for the Inkblight trio because they drop the same materials. So the next thing is you're traveling about the caves. You can be in the ruins or the caves. You're just having a great old time. You're just traveling in between the biomes. Oh, what's that? Oh my goodness. Icker. Gross. So these things, basically, if you don't kill them fast enough, they regenerate. As you can see, I didn't kill it fast enough, so it's regenerating. And what this boils down to is you have to use planar gear. As you can see, a Void Cowl and a Shadow Reaper is enough to kill it. And they drop a decent amount of Nightmare Fuel. My goodness, like 4 or 5 Nightmare Fuel per one? What on earth? I was ignoring these things, but these things are actually really good to kill. They drop so much Nightmare Fuel. and these things spawn so fast. So what causes these things to spawn? Well, when you're traveling between biomes, so not in biomes themselves, but the little pathways between biomes, even this little pathway, this is when they trigger to spawn. And they can spawn extremely often. Like, your caves will be littered with these things if you're doing lots of traveling around the caves. And as you can see, even though they're not meant to spawn in biomes, they can leak into them, but that's okay. So if you accidentally rammed into these things, they consume you, do a bit of damage, and then you can escape. Wait, did it just eat my weapon? Oh no, okay. So after I escaped, you can see my weapon is inside the ick. See that? So to get my weapon back, I need to kill it. There we go. Finally got my weapon back. So yeah, don't get eaten by those things, because yeah, it hurts. If you stand close to it but not in it, you just get slowed down. But if you're silly enough to walk right into it, then yeah, you get chomped on to the point that it'll kill you if you don't have planar armor on, and then steals your weapon. And unless you're Wolfgang, you basically need planar gear to kill them to be able to get your weapon back. Uh-oh, more icks, goodness gracious. You can see that mobs also get slowed down by these icks, but they don't get eaten. If you attack this, you get these little blobs. If you then use a message and a bottle on them, you can collect these little ick blobs. So you do have to do some damage to make them puke out some bubbles. And then you can bottle the ick, which is useful for something in a bit. So then you get an Icker jar, which you can throw. And if you throw these, hoo-yah! It releases those little blobs, which slow you down, and will also slow mobs down. Evil pigman that is trying to attack you. Hiya! Punch. This pigman will indeed be slowed down by the blob. So you could make a big wall of these to slow down mobs if you really wanted to. So if I toss a few of these in a nicer line, this is something you won't see every day. Bee Queen in the caves. So even Bee Queen is being slowed down by them. You see that? So it does affect flying enemies as well. Get out of here, Bee Queen. I need to show the new stuff. We've got some nasty things following us right now. Now, I only thought you could get one of these, but it looks like we have 3. I think one can spawn from each nightmare light. So, this is a lurking horror, because these are planar. Because the rift is open, these guys are planar entities, so they are quite spooky. Now, I don't want to have to deal with 3 of them, so let's show a fight of just one of these. These things only come out when the nightmare phase is at its peak, so when the nightmare phase is active. So let's show you how to fight it. So, first of all, it looks very cool. I'm going to put down a Starcrawler's staff so that you can see things. So, when he bites, he lunges forward, and as you can see, when you hit him, sometimes when he teleports, he will do a little fin attack, as if he's a sea creature. And it's kind of hard to predict where it's coming from. I'm not sure if there is a way to predict where it's coming from. So wait for him to come to you, dodge his attack, get 2 attacks in, and get prepared to dodge the fin attack. He doesn't have a lot of health, but he is a planar entity, so you're going to want planar armor and a weapon to kill him. Then he drops pure horror, nightmare fuel, and that is it. Now, when the rifts aren't active, you get the lurking nightmare, which isn't a planar entity. Oh, goose. Alright, so I've quickly joined a world which doesn't have the rifts enabled, so I can show you the lurking nightmare, which isn't the planar enemy, because its moves are a bit different. As you can see, when it attacks the normal variant, it doesn't lunge forward. The planar variant lunges forward, so it's a bit harder to dodge. So it bites, it does the same wave attack, but does substantially less damage, because it doesn't do planar damage, of course. But otherwise, dodge 2 hits, then dodge its fin attack. Wait for it to spawn again. Do that. Bam, bam. Dodge the fin attack. I recommend staying still until you can see which way the fins are coming from. Otherwise, you might be walking right towards one. It also helps to be able to see what's around you. So putting down a Starcrawler's staff would make this fight substantially easier, because you can actually see where the fins are coming from. But yeah, there you go. So that's the fight. The planar version is a bit harder and does a bit more damage. So yeah, that is the lurking nightmare and the lurking horror. Gonna quickly change back to the world where rifts were enabled, because the rest of this does require rifts. So now let's go to Ancient Guardian, except we are not actually here to fight Ancient Guardian. Let's open this chest. What we got in here? Ooh, a green gem. Tasty. Anyway, let's be on our way. What on earth? It's come to life. So welcome. When you have rifts enabled, there will be a certain amount of chests in the Ancient Guardian's Labyrinth that will be mimic chests, which are, when you open them, they will turn into a fightable enemy. Now, this isn't like a chance, it is just a set amount of them will just turn into chest mimics. That will always turn into chest mimics when you kill them. And of course, when you kill Fuel Weaver, it resets the chests, so they will spawn back. Now, from my testing, which is like 2 world gens, there seem to be about 6, 7, 8 or so of these chests, so there is plenty of them. You can do 4 or 5 hits, bonk. You kill him, and he will drop whatever he is holding, plus Pure Horror and Nightmare Fuel. But now, let's go to another mimic, because to unlock some of the new items, you do indeed need to let one of these chest mimics eat. That's right, eat a Shadow Heart. So I put down Starcrawler's Staff just for ease, but if I open this up, this is a mimic chest. You open it, kill these spiders, and then if you drop the Shadow Atrium, he should go and eat it. So he's eating that spider gland. He'll try to eat everything on the floor, yeah, and then he stores it inside of himself. So if you lure it on top of the Shadow Atrium, oh, he stole my Nightmare Fuel, so when you get hit by him, he also knocks things out of your inventory. But don't worry, all of this you can get back when you kill him. So he just ate the Shadow Atrium, so now we want it back. So let's do the fight. So 5 hits, then dodge and repeat, and he has dropped everything before. What is this? The possessed Shadow Atrium? And it's moving around. So the Shadow Atrium has now become possessed. So this is an upgraded version of the Shadow Atrium, which you need for some crafting recipes. And you can't pick this thing up. And if you chase it, it will run away from you. So you need to make a trap and run it into the trap. So if you, if I go around here, just chase it into the trap. Got him. And that is how you get the possessed Shadow Atrium. Like I said, for the next few things, you will need this to use to craft. And so, of course, to get possessed Shadow Atrium, you have to already kill Fuel Weaver, then activate the Rift. So all the items that require this as a crafting recipe are now locked behind. You have to kill Fuel Weaver and then get another Shadow Atrium and then feed it to a chest, a mimic, with a Rift open, to be able to get this. These chest mimics don't exist until after you've enabled like hard mode caves. So there are these new mimic creatures. I don't know how these things naturally spawn, but that's what they are. And what they do is they mimic anything on the floor. Oh, and he just mimicked my Shadow Reaper. So this was the natural one, and this is the mimicked one. So if we go run off with this now. Oh, I used it and then he immediately jumped out. I got pranked. It turned back into a mimic. So if it mimics an item and then you use it, it then transforms back to a mimic. So it's just kind of like, it's just there to kind of prank you. But if you mimic something useful, for example, if it mimics this construction amulet, I'll be quite happy. And it just mimicked a construction amulet. So now, if I pick up the construction amulet, wear it, it's letting me wear it. This is the original one. And then you have some tools like, let's make a crown. You can see I got a free construction amulet use. So that crown cost me half as much to make, and then he turned back into a mimic. So, with enough patience and enough mimics, you can just have them keep mimicking construction amulets to get like free construction amulet uses. So that is a way to actually use mimics in a good way. It's pretty cool. And again, someone can leave a comment to let me know, because I don't know how you naturally get those mimics to spawn. I'm not sure. So unlucky, but otherwise they still work roughly the same as in beta. So I made myself the Shadowcraft plinth at the Ancient Pseudoscience Station. So slap down the Shadowcraft plinth and you will see some new recipes. So we had all these already, but we did not have the Gloomerang, the Shadow Maul, the Beefalo Gloom Bell, the Nightmare Saddle, and the Icker Preserve Kit. So let's start with the Gloomerang. It only requires 2 Dark Tatters and 4 Pure Horror, so once you kill an Ink Blight or 2, you can pretty easily access this. And what this Gloomerang does is it's a ranged weapon, but the further away you are, when you attack something with it, the more damage it does. So I was doing 62 damage there, and up close I was doing 22 damage. Without the Void Cowl, you can only have 3 boomerangs out at once before you can't have any more out, and it also deals less damage. So I'm doing 54 damage. With the Void Cowl, I can have 4 boomerangs out, but it doesn't. You can't quite hold F. You do have to do a little bit of waiting. So instead, what you can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, you can do that. So you switch between 2 Gloomerangs to maximize the damage. So even without the Void Cowls, you can only put out 3 boomerangs per Gloomerang. You still just need 2 to constantly be throwing them. So this is a really good range weapon because that's all it takes, and then you just repair it with a repair kit when you're done. So this is a pretty good range weapon when you want a range weapon, like against Phase 3 Cecil Champion. But otherwise, melee, if you're Wolfgang, melee weapons are still going to be better. Now, the Beefalo Gloom Bell and the Nightmare Saddle, both of these require the possessed Shadow Atrium. So you would need 2 possessed Shadow Atriums to make both the Gloom Bell and the Nightmare Saddle. And we're going to go over these together because they both have things to do with Beefalo. So you've got a Beefalo. You love Beefalo. If you attach it with the Beefalo Gloom Bell, it works as any other Beefalo Bell, and it will now follow you because it's following the Beefalo Bell. Oh no, some wild shadow meteors! Oh no, my Beefalo! Oh wait, my Beefalo Gloom Bell. I can give it to the dead Beefalo. And it gets resurrected. Oh my gosh. But it does consume the Beefalo Gloom Bell, and you take a health penalty. It does consume the bell, so you then have to make a new one. Anyway, let's talk about this saddle. So that's cool. You can revive your Beefalo. This Nightmare Saddle, basically, it's not as fast as a Glossamer Saddle. This is the best saddle. It counts as a war saddle. So if your Beefalo is fighting something, you can get back on the Beefalo. Yeah, basically, this is just the end game saddle. But will anyone use it? So it gives your Beefalo plus 18 planar damage. You can see that the War Saddle gives 16 physical damage, so the Nightmare Saddle is pretty good. It absorbs 60% of physical damage and reduces planar damage by 15 flat, and it doesn't have durability except when it gets shook off. So it can absorb infinite damage, yes. So basically it's the end game saddle, except if you want the Glossamer Saddle, because the Glossamer Saddle makes this go ever so slightly faster, but otherwise this is still a saddle that grants speed. Overall, best saddle in the game, but not for speed. So if you had an ornery Beefalo, you're going to be dealing a nice 68 damage, except 18 of that is planar. Wearing the Void Cowl doesn't do anything for that damage. Now the Shadow Maul. This also requires a possessed Shadow Atrium among the other hard mode cave materials. And what it does at the moment is not a lot. It's a weapon that is buffed by the Void Cowl, so dealing up to 80 damage, but with the Reaper, you're doing 88 damage, so the Reaper is just better. But the Shadow Maul has a little secret. Every time you kill a boss, bam, bam, bam. Every time you kill a boss with this Maul, it eats it. And so for every 3 bosses you kill with it, it will level up. So you see how it has 1 eye on it? That means it is level 1. So now that it is level 1, when I attack something, I regenerate 3.4 health every time I attack. It also drains your sanity a little bit, but 3.4 regen per attack. That's pretty good, but otherwise the damage is still worse than the Shadow Reaper. As you can see, we're doing 84 damage and 88 with the Reaper. If we kill 3 more bosses, yum yum yum, it is now level 2, and it's now doing the same damage as the Reaper. Okay, so it's same damage as the Reaper, and when I attack, rather than 3.4, I'm getting 6.8 regen per hit, so double the regen as level 1. And of course, level 0 gives no regen. Then we're just gonna simply kill another 3 bosses, and we are now at the max level Shadow Maul. At max level, we are regenerating 10.2 health, so triple that of level 1 per hit, while also draining a smidge of sanity. Well, it also drains triple the sanity as well, but that's fine. Worth it. It only drains sanity when you actually get the regen effect. If you're just attacking, it doesn't drain your sanity. But now its damage has surpassed the Shadow Reaper. We're now dealing 92 damage, whereas the Reaper is 88. So it has surpassed it in damage, and it regens you. So really good weapon. I'm going to do a boss rush where I focus around this weapon like really well, because I think it's a really cool weapon. But otherwise, feed it 12 boss kills and it will get to max level. And it only needs to do the lethal hit. You don't have to do all the damage to the boss with the Shadow Maul. But there is one other mechanic with the Shadow Maul that I haven't talked about. If I go ahead and skip 5 days, you can see that the Shadow Maul's durability is going down, and that's because it is actually starving. So the Shadow Maul has a hunger mechanic where when you kill something, it fills up its hunger. So if I attack the spider, kill it, the Shadow Maul is now satisfied, so its durability has stopped dropping, so it has stopped starving. Every time you kill something, it will increase its hunger. It has a maximum hunger, and the TLDR is basically, if you're not going to be using the Shadow Maul for 3 days, like you're not going to kill anything with it for 3 days, you should just bundle it up. So the Shadow Maul is starving, so we just put it in the bundling wrap, and that stops it from starving. So if I skip a few days ahead now, and then I open the bundle back up, he is still starving, but at least it paused the starving. You can repair him while he's starving, but he will continue starving, so the durability will continue to go down. So basically, if you're not going to kill anything with it for 3 days, then bundle it up. But otherwise, every 3 days, make sure you're killing stuff to fill its hunger back up so the durability doesn't drain. And you don't want the durability to drain, because if the durability drains to 0 because it's starving or because you've used up all the durability, so I'm going to run it all the way down to 0. So whether it dies from starving or by usage, it breaks. but it's okay because I can repair it. But it's not okay because now it's back down to level 0. So you never want to break this thing because you lose all of your boss progress. So yeah, make sure it never hits 0. Make sure you kill things with it occasionally. Like when the durability starts draining, you've got to kill something with it, like a spider or something. And if you're not going to use it for 3 days, just bundle it up so that it doesn't die from starving. So the Shadow Maul's really good. I'm going to do a boss rush that centers around it with Wolfgang. And that is the Shadow Maul. And lastly, we have a few new additions. So we have the Icker Preserve Kit. So you know those Icker jars we made earlier and then we threw them? If you use 3 of those and 5 Dreadstone, you get 1 Icker Preserve Kit. I just made 3 then. And what you can do, you can place these things down, and they are interesting. I don't know if you'll use them though, so I'm going to put down 3 just to show. So what these things do is you can put things into them to preserve them. They can store up to 1 stack of spoilable things. So some meatballs, put them in. And there it is. They will float there. You can't put in more than 1 stack of meatballs. And it is 100% spoilage reduction. So those meatballs will never spoil no matter how much time passes. And you can quickly just take them out just like that. Pretty neat. Now, you might think, but why don't I just use bundling wrap? And that's a good question. And yeah, you'll probably just use bundling wrap. But this is cool though, because it puts them on display. And you can also use it for things like, if you have a scorching sunfish, you can put the scorching sunfish inside there. And you get its effect. You can see that my temperature is going up. So the scorching sunfish makes you hot. And when it's on the floor, it has an effect where it heats everything up around it. So you get the passive effects of items if they have a passive effect. So the items radiate their effect as if they were on the floor, except they get preserved. So this fish will never die, but it will forever radiate some heat, which is neat for winter, I suppose. But once you get far away, it drops off really fast, so probably not too useful. If you dump a glowberry in here, and then you see it lit up, if it's nighttime, you'll see that the glowberry does in fact glow. So even though it's inside storage, it will still glow. So the item acts as if it was dropped on the floor, and it gets that effect, except it's being preserved. And the fish also glows in the dark. It's pretty neat for like kitchen ingredients, because you can quickly take them out and then put them back in, and you can always see what they are. But I think the preserver kit is probably a little too expensive. But otherwise, I could totally imagine having a kitchen with a bunch of these, with lots of little ingredients in them. But otherwise, yeah, that's what the Icker Preserve Kit does. Pretty neat. And I believe that is everything. Make sure to leave a comment if I missed anything, or if you have tips and tricks for some of the new items for the people in the comments. If you want to get yourself a Don't Starve U2's figure, hell yeah, go to youtooz.com/Jake and use my code Jake for 5% off. I get commission, hell yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing a boss rush, which will center around this update. So watch me over on Twitch if you're interested in that. Thank you for watching, and yes, bye-bye.